Okay. So this topic there was a hell of a lot to it. And I'm not going to just go through and repeat what Kevin said. What I'd like to do is to show you a PowerPoint and help to understand the basic structure, if that's all right. I mean, how did you go with the lecture, Jacqueline?
Okay, well, yes, all of that which goes with what is one thing, but it's sort of, to me, it's what is still quite puzzling is what is the message? The
Yes.
messenger bringing what message for what triggers it? Where does it begin? And I follow that it, that goes with that, and they're connected, and
Yeah.
it's, and how they, the entry and the access and the exit, but it's sort of like, well, what is the function?
As we said before, there's not enough of the tree trunk to be able to pull all the branch things on. So what I hope that I can do today, because I went through it quite a few times to try and, to get some idea about it. So
Yeah.
did you get the I'll share the PowerPoint with you once.
Yes.
I've finished
Thank
it.
you for those documents.
Yes, yeah. Ignore the first two. The second two are the better ones. So
In what way? Because
it was a bit distorted. The second one was a bit distorted.
Because they're bigger and so they're easier to read, whereas the second one are very tiny. Some of the print is in fact so small that it's hard to read when it's printed. So maybe that's just a formatting thing.
Quite possibly. All right. So can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Now, slideshow, play from the start. Okay, here we go. So the first thing was to understand that the solid organs that are the yin ones, the electrical flow goes from the solid organs to the hollow organs. Okay, did I get that right? Yes, that's right. Yeah. And the direction of sharing the energy, right? The energy flows and it goes from the lung to the large intestine, which is its elemental pair, and the bladder, which is its special messenger. Now, you can read through all of those. These are just for your reference. But down here, he gave us an example, and he's saying that if you've got like a headache on one side of your head and you've got bloating, which is your small intestine, check out the heart. It's because both of those connect with the heart. So I guess up here, symptoms of the large intestine, if you've got symptoms of the large intestine and symptoms of bladder, check out the lung. I think that's a really interesting thing from treatment point of view. All right. Okay. Now, this is the one, this is like the composite of everything. And this is what I want to help you to understand. Okay. So you've got these four are the entry, these four are the axis, and I'll explain that later. And these ones are the exits, right? So if we go here, these ones are all yang organs. They are yang, they are hollow, and they are the special messengers of the yin organs. And the yin organs are those ones, right? So all the yang, or all the special messengers are actually yang, which is interesting. Okay. Now, there's another
Sorry,
one.
why is that interesting? Just why do you think that is interesting that they're all
because yang is positive and yin is negative, and you get flow from the yin to the yang. So the yin to the yang. So special messengers, I think of it in terms of the special messengers drain these organs. Special messengers take the energy away from the yin organs. Does that make sense?
Because they take the energy away.
Yes, if you look at an example, we all know that the kidney, which has pre-heaven chi and gets energy from Ida and Pingala and the breath, right? That is distributed by the triple heater to the yuan source points. Do you remember that? The kidney gate distributes energy to all the meridians via the triple heater, because the triple heater connects with every meridian via the yuan source points, which we've already done. Okay. And what Kevin has noticed is he says, this is not just for this pair. It also is a pattern between all pairs of special messengers. And that's what we'll go into further as we go further along. Now, the first entry, this is the first of the two groups, right? They take light, they get their energy from light and air. They get their electricity from the air, from lungs, and from light for the bladder, because the light comes into bladder 1 in the morning. Okay. And the second pair gets theirs from food. The chi comes through the spleen and the small intestine into the body and then distributes it via the axes, and then it exits by the third pair, by the exits. Okay. If you go over this a few times and read back through the notes, you will understand it. You'll get it. Okay.
Where do you have a link that we can listen to the recorded?
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
I'll send you the recording. So if we come back to here, we can see we've got all the yang organs here these are all special messengers, and they are special messengers of these yin organs. Okay. And they're organized in 3 sets of 4. These are how the energy or the chi gets into the body. It gets into these top 2 via light and air. It gets into the bottom 2 via food. And we'll go into that a little bit more. It's then distributed via the axes. This distributes the energy that comes from light and air, because Ida and Pingala end up in the kidney gate. Then it gets distributed to the rest of the body via the triple heater. The food goes through this, which we'll talk about later. Okay. And yeah, so is that fairly straightforward?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Where are we up to? Okay. So if we look at the entries, the lung and the bladder let air and light into the body. That comes in as electrical energy. Now, the lung takes that qi into the meridian system because lung, large intestine, stomach, spleen. So the lung is the entry into the regular meridians, and the bladder is the entry into the muscle meridians. Okay, yes. The bladder lets light in, and if you have no sense of wonder, like if you say, oh God, I've just got to get up, etc. Kevin says if you have a sense of wonder, you let the light in more easily. And if you let the light in, you don't block the bladder. But if you don't let the light in, you go around, etc., you actually block your bladder, which is interesting. So that's a part of treatment. Bladder problems, look at what's going on with how you greet the day. There's a possibility. Now, lung 7 treats bladder problems because it lets more electrical energy into the whole system. So lung and bladder, they work together to bring light and air into the body. Is that fairly straightforward? Now, the spleen and the small intestine, they let in the electrical energy from food and for thought as well. When the food comes in, goes through the stomach and to the small intestine separates the pure from the impure. And the pure goes to the spleen, both food and fluid, and the impure goes to stomach to be got rid of. Small intestine 4 clears spleen heat. Now, I've just sent a question to Kevin to ask why small intestine 4. Because small intestine 4 is a Yuan source point. I don't know whether that's significant, but the fact that it's small intestine, which is the special messenger, it clears stuff from the spleen. So the special messenger clears stuff from the organ on the right side here. Okay. Small intestine helps the spleen in lactation problems because small intestine is the special messenger of the spleen. The spleen is what turns fluid into milk. And if that's blocked, then the small intestine can be treated for lactation problems because of that. You're looking puzzled there, Jacqueline.
No, that's clear because that's blood going into milk. I got stuck on pure and impure.
Oh, yes, this is about discernment. We're talking about food that has good qi in it and food that's just rubbish.
Oh, okay.
And that can be either food or it can be fluid or it can be thought. So that's why the small intestine is about discernment. So it's about picking off the good stuff to send it to the spleen. And that's how the small intestine helps with that. The impure stuff goes to the stomach. So if, you end up all night watching porn, or if you eat McDonald's all the time, then you're going to overload the small intestine and you're going to have problems with your whole gut. Okay. The spleen helps the lungs with breath.
Remember he said, can I just?
Yes.
I just remembered he talking about the tradition of saying grace before meals or
yes. Yeah.
prayer of gratitude before a meal, allowing that space to be before,
Yep.
you know, stuffing the face full of.
It allows the spleen to relax.
Yeah.
Allows the spleen and the small intestine, both of them, to relax, because then they can do that separation of the pure from the impure. Now, the spleen and the lungs are an up and down pair. I had two clients who had really bad lung problems, and one of them had a spontaneous perforation of the lung, and the other, I can't remember what she had, but both of them had been doing PhDs. So that's why I thought, aha, this is a spleen problem, because the spleen was depleted because of the studying. It had a problem with they had a problem with the lungs. So I actually treated spleens and lungs, both of them, and they got better. So spleen helps lungs with breath. Small intestine helps bring light in as well. I have no idea how it does that, but that was something that was in his notes. So any questions from that? The other thing that was in the notes is that air is positively charged and the earth is negatively charged. So when we're breathing air in, we're actually breathing in electrical charge. But if we breathe in through the mouth, that doesn't get trapped. It has to go through the nose to come in through Ida and Pingala. And the negative charge, which comes from earth, comes up through the heels through Ida and Pingala. Any questions from that, Lilia? Is that clear as mud?
I have to listen to this again, because now you explain and now I have to listen, and
you just have to
then
go over it a few times, and
yes,
it will start to, once you see the pattern, like the pattern, this is what helped me, is to make, this always helps me to make a chart so I can, it's like a roadmap of the whole thing. And that helps. So is that chart sort of explanatory? Is that, can you understand the chart that I've done? Does that
yes,
make sense?
Yeah.
yeah.
Good.
I just wondered, solid. Sorry, I'm just looking at because they're the same as what you sent, but just a little bit different. That the yang. The solid organs flow to the yin to the yang. Yeah, I just wasn't. I've personally found it a little bit confusing going from the yang to the yin on this one.
Yeah.
The one is.
It's the other way around. So
yeah.
it turned, I just didn't have time to change it on the chart.
No, I just was wondering whether there was any other reason. Well,
No,
which was significant or not. I'm just okay. I just was.
I only had a short time to do it in, so I've sort of only just got it done about 20 minutes ago. So
Okay, so there wasn't anything I need to read into that. Okay, that's
none
all
at all.
right. Good,
None
good.
at all.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
I mean, these charts that I'm sending you, they're just clues of where to look when you're trying to treat, and there'll be more examples at the end that will help to sort of explain things. Now we're looking at this middle one, which is the axis. Now the axis is actually about circulation and distribution within the body. So as you know, the kidney gathers pre-heaven chi and chi from air and light and Ida and Pingala. And then the triple heater distributes it via the source points to all meridians. Now, the practical application of that is if there's too much stress on the kidneys, that creates too much yang in the kidneys, and that then stops the distribution by the triple heater. And what that does is it turns off the brown fat, which is what causes burning, creates more white fat, and we get weight gain. The other thing that happens is it creates chronic fatigue because there's no energy distribution by the triple heater. And that's because, see, the adrenal glands are part of the kidney system. And if that gets overloaded, right, the triple heater can't do its job. So if you're doing anything that involves like getting the kidney to work properly, okay, you need to look at the triple heater as well. Now, I had a shoulder problem, which I still have some problems with. And Kevin, because of where it was, I had torn the rotator cuff. He said, that's triple heater. So he was treating the Yuan source point of triple heater. But then I thought, I know that my kidneys are pretty stuffed, so why don't we treat the kidneys as well? So that's what we did. I got Bev to put one hand on one of my kidneys and the other hand on the triple heater point on my wrist. And the pain that I felt in my shoulder was enormous, and it helped to clear whatever was in my shoulder. So that's the first time I ever used the knowledge of special messengers.
So do you mind just repeating
Yes,
that?
I can do that, yes. I had a sore shoulder.
Yeah, right. And
I treated with that we were treating with triple heater.
Yeah.
But because Bev and I had decided to do the reverse aging, we'd been doing each other's kidneys. And then I thought, well, the kidney is the triple heater is the special messenger for kidney, which means triple heater helps take the energy and distribute it.
Yeah.
So all of the special messengers distribute the energy that are in the yin channels. Okay. And this is just one example of it. So by treating the kidneys, what we were doing was allowing the energy of the kidneys to move. And where did it move? Through the triple heater.
So when you say it moved through the triple heater.
Yes, that was the pain I felt. I felt extreme pain, like really extreme pain in my shoulder, in the triple heater meridian, which is where the pain was. Because when the energy starts to move, it can be very painful.
So, Amita, if you didn't have if your kidneys were working properly,
yes, I probably I wouldn't have had so much trouble, and it probably would have got better ages ago. But my kidneys are a chronic problem. I've had many treatments on it, and they still haven't completely unlocked. I've been through a lot of crap in my life, and I think that it's taken its toll on my poor old kidneys.
Can we buy some from the supermarket? Or
wouldn't that be nice? I'd love that. It's like the time I told Hayden when he was really, really, really sick. I said, you don't have any more yin left. He said, where can I buy some? Okay, so that's like an example within this little group. These are the axes, which is for distribution. Now, the heart, it gathers blood, oxygen, and qi, which comes from food, right? Comes from food. It's come from the spleen and the small intestine. It gets sent to the heart and the gallbladder. And the gallbladder gathers bile, hormones, and liver qi to distribute to the fascia. So the heart distributes it through the blood to the rest of the body, and the gallbladder distributes it through the fascia. That's just a good thing to understand. Now, another thing about the combination of heart and gallbladder, migraine is a heart gallbladder problem. When you get tightness in the heart, because the gallbladder is the most yang of all the organs, if the heart gets constricted, that then can't be cleared by the gallbladder. So it backs up, and that's what causes a migraine. If the heart is too tight or too positive, it affects the gallbladder, and that then creates a migraine. So if you want to treat a migraine, you can treat the gallbladder, but if you treat the heart as well, that is even better. This is where these special messengers become very practical, very practical. Now, the other thing that's interesting is that sleep is affected by the close relationship between the gallbladder and the heart. The gallbladder actually has a channel, an extra channel that actually flows up through the heart. And these two are very connected via the vagus nerve. So if there's a problem in one, it's going to create a problem in both. Gallbladder and heart are connected via the vagus nerve, as well as the gut. So if you have a problem with the vagus nerve, it's not just the gallbladder and the heart that are going to be affected, but your gut and a whole lot of other things are going to be affected as well. So if you've got symptoms such as a fast heart, anxiety, depression, bloating, IBS, insomnia, migraine, they can be treated with the gallbladder, because there is a gallbladder divergent that runs up and through the heart. And I would look at the vagus and the heart as well. Many of these problems come from the heart, which disrupts the vagus. Apparently, the heart disrupts the vagus. And through the heart, and not just the vagus, but also through its special messenger, it affects the gallbladder. So if there's a problem in the heart, look at the gallbladder, and vice versa as well. So just treating the gallbladder alone is not enough. You need to treat the heart as well. So if you've got a gallbladder problem, you should look at the heart as well. That's a practical treatment application. All right.
Mita, I'm going to ask a stupid question. But
oh, please, there's no such thing as a stupid question.
Yeah, when you say gallbladder, to treat the gallbladder, would you treat all the points of the gallbladder, or just the first point of the gallbladder? Or
I'd start off with the organ, with the gallbladder organ to gallbladder 34. That's where I'd start.
Okay, thank you. And the heart, we just organ and
Shandao.
Okay.
Easy. And I'm sure there are other strategies in TCM that probably cover this, but it's possible that they don't understand this connection because special messengers is not in TCM. I think, look, Kevin said that he thinks that understanding the dynamics of special messengers is one of the most powerful ways to look at treating people. So that's why I wanted to do it, because I want to understand what it's all about. So if you've got these little charts and somebody comes in with, as I said, a headache and gut problems, well, you know, look a little bit deeper, little bit deeper. All right, now the exits. This is the bottom one. This is how the energy, the chi, gets out of the body, or it gets out of an organ into the body, etc. Liver is the exit of neurotransmitters and blood, and of heat and energy for the fascia, as well as toxins. Now, if you've got heat in the body, it's most likely coming from the liver. That's where it commonly comes from. So you'll see that liver and large intestine are a pair. Large intestine helps to remove excess heat from the liver. So guess what the point in the body for treating heat in the body is? Large intestine 11. Right here. Right there. If you've got a fever, large intestine 11. If you've got rising liver fire, large intestine 11. That's why that works, because the large intestine is the special messenger of the liver. Now, the pericardium helps blood and oxygen go from the heart to around the body. So the pericardium helps take blood and oxygen around the body. The large intestine and the stomach are obvious exits from the body for useless stuff. Large intestine and stomach are special messengers, and they help remove all the crap from the body. Large intestine and stomach, they are special messengers that help to take the energy away. Okay. Here I've written it. Large intestine and stomach are obvious exits from the body for use or stuff that we no longer need. And large intestine and stomach are special messages that help to the stuff to leave the body. Now, stomach and pericardium, they have a fairly close interaction. And from a practical point of view, you can see, because they help breastfeeding. PC1 and stomach 17 are very close together. And Kevin talks about this as nature and nurture. So it helps the emotional function of breastfeeding as well. So PC6 helps with nausea. PC6, if you're out on the water and you get seasick or airsick, PC6 is the one. That's because of the relationship between pericardium and stomach. Okay. If you're throwing up after a heart trauma, like if you get a broken heart and it's affected you so deeply that you're throwing up, you can't just treat the stomach. You need to treat Shen Dao as well. And that will treat the throwing up much faster than just doing the stomach alone. Stomach and PC are also connected in the brain. Both of these have connections to a part of the brain that organizes the stomach and organizes the PC, and they're right next to each other. So the liver also helps with the upward movement in the ascending colon. So you know it has to go up and across and down, and it helps with that ascending. And metastases from the colon cancer often goes to the liver. So he talks about treating the 4 gates, which are 2 large intestine points and 2 liver points. So you do them on both sides. They're called the 4 gates. And it helps to reset the energy of the body. I've heard about this, but I've never used it. And it also helps to relieve pain, apparently.
So the 4 gates are 2 liver 14 and liver 13.
No, 2 liver 4. Sorry, 2 large intestine 4. Large intestine 4 and liver 3.
So when you treat large intestine 4 and liver 3?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you can do the 4 of them if you've got 2 of you. Bit hard to put your hands on 4 points with one person.
Yeah, but we can imagine, like you said last time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, if you're an acupuncturist, you could put a needle in each one, and this is an acupuncture treatment, is treating a needle in each of the large intestine 4 and 1 in each of the liver 3. Like these points, the large intestine 4 and liver 3, they are all very powerful points. They do all sorts of other things apart from treat the large intestine and the liver. So they're very powerful. I think they're called star points, something like that. So that's quite a bit.
Are you saying when you talk about resetting energy of the body, so there's a general reset?
Yep.
So if you were just on your own, you might just do one side and then do the other side.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
If you have 2 people, it's you just do them together, it's better, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So it helps with constipation, which is a large intestine problem, menstrual stagnation, which is a liver problem, and difficulty in walking, which is interesting. I don't know how that figures. And it helps with emotional problems of feeling stuck or trapped. So if you feel stuck or trapped, it's because the large intestine, it assists in the movement of liver energy. So the large intestine, because it's a special messenger, helps to relieve what's going on in the liver. With temperature, feelings of being stuck, and it relieves heat from the body because heat mostly comes from the liver.
I'm just integrating this. So liver 3, because I'm just looking at Deadman's as we also. So the Yuan source and earth point of the liver channel, liver 3.
Yep. It's also where you can get the, you use liver 3 at the end of a liver flush because it helps to get the energy in the liver moving. That's what liver 3 does.
Yeah.
Okay. So any questions about all of that, really? I mean, I'm happy for you to ask questions afterwards if you want to.
I think I just have to actually read a few times to understand. But
Yeah.
I understood what you said.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it did take a long time to figure out what he was talking about and put it in some semblance of like progressing so it becomes useful. Because I said, you know, he likes to talk about the details before he's talked about the overall plan. This is the trunk of the tree. That's what that is. Okay, these are some examples. You can look at them if you like. That just comes from his lecture, so you can have a look at that if you want to. And this I thought was interesting. The special messengers of emotions. Now, usually when you get blockages, they're blockages in the yin organs, which are the ones that have a special messenger to help to drain them. So the gallbladder heart connection, if you've got an over-controlling nature, which comes from gallbladder heart connections, the blocked heart removes your connection to your center and the gallbladder gets blocked. And the gallbladder gets blocked not because it's a gallbladder problem, it's blocked by the heart.
Wow.
So the gallbladder can't do its job of organizing and structuring if the heart is connected. That's one of the most common things. This pair and the kidney triple heater, they're the most common things that you see, which is a special messenger problem. The heart has a huge effect on gallbladder. I mean, apart from other organs. Now, the PC stomach, worry causes stomach problems, but if you just treat the stomach alone, it won't fix it. We need to treat its special messenger, the pericardium, first. See, here's some practical stuff for you, Jacqueline. I knew you'd enjoy this. And the large intestine liver, if you're feeling stuck because metal is about not being able to move on and not being able to let go, if you feel stuck, you'd think, oh, well, maybe we need to treat large intestine and its elemental partner, lung. But it's actually better if we treat its special messenger, which is the liver. Liver becomes stuck too, and it heats up and it creates phlegm. So the large, this is what we've just talked about. The large intestine 4 and liver 3, the 4 gates helps with feeling trapped and stuck. So that's about resetting the energy of the whole being. And it could come not from a physical thing, that could come from just feeling stuck in your life. So if somebody comes in depressed, you could ask the specific question, do you feel like you're stuck in your life? Like you can't move on? Or maybe somebody's lost somebody and they can't move on. This would be great for them. This combination would be great for them. Good practical. Small intestine and stomach. When we lack discernment, we lack balance. All right? Balance is earth, is stomach. So lack of discernment can be overthinking, and the treatment for this is specifically spleen 5, because earth is about balance. Small intestine is fire, sort of expansion all over the place. But if they're lacking discernment, which you need balance for, you use spleen 5. Okay, ladies, that's it. I think that's enough to go on with. I hope that what I've done with this will help you be able to see more when you actually, or hear more when you actually listen to the lecture.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah. Well, thank you, because you give the meaning you're creating, because what I find is he's often just, it's like he's just reading.
Well, I think he is.
I think he's.
I think he is, actually. Yeah.
So it doesn't sort of go in.
Yep.
So that's why I think this is great, you know, to actually.
Well, doing these charts is like giving you the tree trunk, right? Then you can put all the bits and pieces into it. It will have more meaning for it. So, you know, when you say, oh, well, why is large intestine 11 so good at removing heat? Well, here's the answer. Because it's the It's the special messenger of the liver, and the liver is where most heat comes from. The same with problems with blocked energy, etc., depression, etc. You're not getting the proper circulation from the triple heater of the kidney. So look at the kidney, treat the kidney too. Not just the triple heater, but treat the kidney as well.
Yeah.
I just find this very exciting, and I'm
very interesting.
I'm looking forward to understanding it more, because I think there's a lot of key in here. And I think a lot of the acupuncture recipes come from here without realizing that that's where it comes from. Yeah. So any comments or questions or anything? Because I think that's probably enough for you to...
It's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. Yeah.
Concentrated, but it's making sense. Yeah, well, it seems, you know, like that's the special messengers are kind of key. More.
Yeah. And I think, you know, when you have somebody come in with particular symptoms, with those little triangle things that I gave you, because that's got the special messenger in it as well.
Yes.
And this one as well, that one. I mean, I would suggest you make your own chart, to be honest. I find that that helps me to understand it. Having to organize it from the, you know, from the lecture that he gives, it's
and which arrow goes in which direction to actually do it. Yeah, I agree.
Exactly. I like to make it sort of fairly clear, like I've put for every single one of them, special messenger of, etc. Special messenger of, so that it's clear.
It's the movement that's the thing for me to really get, is this is nothing static on a piece of paper. This is actually moving, a movement.
Well, it's the movement of the energy around the body, right? Yes. And that's something that I have found very difficult to get clear. This has helped, and it will also help when I go to some of the other stuff that he's talked about, to help to put it into perspective. So, yeah.
Well, and for me, I have to sort of almost experience it in my body, which is why the meditation is very good, because it's where we've been doing about moving energy. Body is a good, and then to actually, you know, that's why, you know, for me, looking at, it's also learning where those points are. Same time, you know, so it's integrated.
Well, I think that because Lilia is going to come next Thursday, aren't you, Lilia? You're going to come
this Thursday, this week.
This Thursday.
Today's Monday. Yeah.
So I think it would be good. I will actually ask him if he can walk us through, take us through all the different points, etc.
Oh, yeah. Yes. And excellent. Yes. Because if he